In this lesson, we're going to set up a camera to use depth of field in order to isolate and draw the attention to a certain part of the screen that we want our viewer to focus on. From the Quick Access toolbar, click Open, navigate to the Chapter 7 subdirectory, and open the file Chapter 7 dofcam01.max. When the file opens, you'll be inside of the laboratory that we've been working with. From the main toolbar, click Select by Name. In the Select by Name dialog, scroll until you see a camera called DOFCam. Click to select the DOFCam camera object, then click OK. In the camera viewport, press C on the keyboard to activate the camera view and look through the DOFCam camera. When we look through it, you can see that close to the camera is part of the fixture hanging from the ceiling, and in the distance is the table with glass beakers and other equipment on it. With the DOF camera still selected, click the Modifier tab to open the Modifier panel. Now, if we rendered this frame without depth of field, we would not have any idea which object to focus on. Is the hanging structure important, or is the focus of the scene on the table in the background? Let's set up the depth of field and make the background objects the focus in this particular scene. In the Modifier panel, in the Camera Parameters rollout, scroll until you get to the Multipass Effect area. Click to activate the enabled checkbox, which will activate the multipass effect that is currently selected. In this case, it's the standard depth of field. Next, click the Multipass Effect drop-down and choose the Depth of Field Mental Ray option. This will enable the camera to render the depth of field automatically when using Mental Ray as a renderer. Take a look at the shaded camera viewport and notice that it has updated to show the depth of field effect and what it looks like with the current parameters. Scroll the panel up a little bit and you'll see that there is now a depth of field parameters rollout. This rollout contains one parameter, the camera's f-stop. If you're not familiar with photographic camera controls, the f-stop controls the amount of light entering into the camera. The smaller the f-stop, the more light enters the camera, the shallower the depth of field. The larger the f-stop value, the less light that gets into the camera, which produces a much longer depth of field. The longer depth of field allows you to have more objects in focus as they get further from the camera. In the f-stop value entry field, enter 0.6 and then press enter. This will open the f-stop, allowing more light to come in and giving us a shallower depth of field that will be more tightly focused around the target distance. We can see this in the shaded viewport as soon as the value is changed. It is the target distance that determines the plane that will be in focus. Currently, the target distance is set to about 18 feet. And if we look in the top view, we can see that the target for the camera is located just around where the Bunsen burner is. That's where we want to have our focal plane. Click the Render Production button from the main toolbar to render the scene. Once the scene renders completely, you'll see that the object in the foreground that's hanging from the ceiling is out of focus, while the background is in focus, drawing our eyes to the table. Go ahead and press Ctrl+S to save the file.